A local school put on lockdown this morning. The reason why police responded to the scene.
Governor Cuomo back from his visit to Puerto Rico over the weekend, how he's responding to the damage and asking New Yorkers to help.
We're hitting almost record temperatures. How long this is set to stick around? Citrus TV News starts right now.
This is Citrus TV News live at 6, your campus news leader.
Solvay High School put on lockdown this morning after threats made on social media. Good evening, I'm Gilat Melamed.
And I'm Mike Riccardi. That lockdown was lifted just before noon today. Police say it was put in place after staff was notified that a student threatened to bring a gun to school.
Solvay High School is only 10 minutes away from campus. The lockdown did not affect any other schools in the district.
A person suspected to be in connection with the threat that prompted the lockdown is in custody. Students at the school were released to their parents after the building was cleared by police. 4 people were hospitalized after a quadruple shooting in Syracuse early Sunday morning. Syracuse police say a shootout in front of a lounge on East Fayette Street occurred around 3 a.m. Sunday. That lounge is now under investigation for possibly operating illegally. Police are looking into whether or not the lounge has its liquor license. At least 10 gunshots were fired and the victims are suffering non-life-threatening injuries. 2 men related to the death of a Syracuse University student in 2016 have been found guilty. Cameron Isaac was sentenced to life in prison without parole for the death of Syracuse student Xiaoping Wan. Naninbe Mitchell was sentenced to 15 years in prison after being found guilty of first-degree robbery, but acquitted of a murder charge. Isaac and Mitchell set up a drug transaction with Wan, but robbed him and shot him instead.
Today in the Shine Student Center was the first ever study abroad showcase. 10 representatives from each of Syracuse's schools and colleges were in attendance. The study abroad staff highlighted programs that could work well with specific majors and minors. There are over 100 programs in 60 countries for students to choose from. And the documentary Deej stops at Syracuse today. The screening is part of a series of more than 50 campus and community showings across the U.S. The film promotes inclusion of autistic and mentally disabled children in families, schools, and communities. The viewing will take place in Watson Hall at 6 p.m. It is free and open to the public.
And an update on the Skaneateles Lake toxic algae. The most recent tests of water drawn from Skaneateles Lake shows no signs of blue-green algae toxins in the drinking water. Daily testing will continue until all samples consistently return non-detectable results. New York Governor Andrew Cuomo visited Puerto Rico on Friday. The visit prompted him to launch a state effort to encourage residents to donate goods and raise funds from the business community. Healthcare workers will be sent to the island to provide support in getting medicine and supplies. Cuomo described the devastation he saw during his visit.
The one thing that's clear is these people need a lot of help. And we have to remember that they're American citizens. And I think when you see the pictures and the destruction, anybody who sees it will be moved. And we really need to mobilize, and we need to get our federal representatives to focus on getting the help they need.
It was another beautiful summer-like day here on campus. Citrus TV weather reporter Jessica Torecelli is live outside. How hot is it, Jess?
Yeah, Mike and Gilat, it's really warm out here, and the feels like temperature is still 93 at 6 p.m. Today was in the high of 91, which doesn't break the record set back in 2007 with 91. So we were very close to breaking that record, but just couldn't do it today. A few other places, Albany and Buffalo, also broke their records today, though, so it was a very warm day in upstate New York. But cooler temperatures are coming back this week, and I'll tell you just when to expect that sweater weather and 60 degrees coming up in my full weather forecast. Back.
Coming up, Trump added 8 countries to the list of banned or restricted travel visas. What this means for travelers next.
And Iraqi Kurds are voting on their independence. Find out when results are expected to be known when we come back.
This is the story of a boy who didn't talk for a long time. The boy liked things to always be the same. Any changes would scare and upset him. The unknown was an unfriendly place. The boy was very sensitive to lights and sounds. So he built secret hiding places where they couldn't get in. The boy didn't like looking people in the eye. He wasn't trying to be mean, it just made him feel uncomfortable. Sometimes he would flap his arms again and again.
One day, I found out I have something called autism. My family got me help. Slowly, I found my voice and learned all the ways I could live with it better.
Early intervention can make a lifetime of difference. Learn the signs at autismspeaks.org.
They told me a bottle couldn't dream. That I would never become a superhero. But I learned how to fly. Just to come back in a new disguise. And be the hero that I've always wanted to be.
Hey, Hard, what's this?
That's my resignation letter.
You're resigning.
Why? Because you're constantly ignoring me. You're half as active as you used to be, and you get stuff like this. You've been putting me under a lot of pressure lately. That's why I'm ready to quit.
I forgot. I'll do better. Please, don't quit on me.
Okay, but remember, it's not what you say, it's what you do.
Listen to your heart. Don't let it quit on you.
Let's go for a walk.
Uncontrolled high blood pressure could lead to a stroke, heart attack, or death. Get yours to a healthy range before it's too late.
You're watching Citrus TV News with Mike Riccardi, Gilat Melamed, and Jess Torecelli with weather. Citrus TV News continues now.
Travel visas to the U.S. from 8 countries on Sunday. The new presidential order revealed last night blocks the issuance of visas from North Korea and Syria, as well as blocking all student and visitor visas to Iran. Immigrant, business, and tourist visas are suspended from Chad, Libya, and Yemen. The ban takes effect October 18th.
Former New York Congressman Anthony Weiner has been sentenced to 21 months in prison for sending sexually obscene material to a 15-year-old girl. This follows Weiner's guilty plea to a single count of transferring obscene material in May. Weiner asked for probation, but federal prosecutors say his crime is serious and asked the judge for up to 27 months. The sentence finalizes Weiner's 6-year fall from grace, following his resignation from Congress and his separation from soon-to-be ex-wife Huma Abedin.
1 woman is dead and 7 people are injured after a shooting at a church in Tennessee on Sunday. Nashville police said the shooter killed 1 woman in the parking lot before entering the church and randomly shooting. The gunman was identified as Emmanuel Sampson, a Sudanese man with U.S. residency. The motive for the shooting is unknown.
White House senior advisor Jared Kushner used a private email account for White House matters. Kushner's lawyer released a statement Sunday saying that fewer than 100 emails were sent or returned by Kushner to White House staff, including Steve Bannon and Reince Priebus. So far, there's no indication that Kushner shared any classified material on his private account.
GOP senators have shut down support for a last-ditch health care bill to repeal Obamacare. Rand Paul of Kentucky and John McCain of Arizona have already said they would vote against the legislation. Senator Susan Collins of Maine also voiced her opposition. If she votes against the legislation, the bill will die. The bill would repeal most of Obama's 2010 health care reform and return decision-making power to the states.
Controversy continued over the weekend between President Trump and NFL players. Trump unleashed a tirade of strong comments against players who don't stand during the national anthem, calling it unpatriotic. By game time on Sunday, roughly 200 players sat, knelt, or raised fists during the national anthem. We're joined now with sports anchor Matthew Wieselthaler to discuss further. Now, Matt, are these protests, are they the fruition of Colin Kaepernick's movement, or are they more in response to President Trump's comments?
See, it's a little bit of both right now. So you have the Colin Kaepernick movement with the Black Lives Matter and everything with that, players kneeling down for the anthem. However, this is a little bit more than that. Because of President Trump's comments, now the players and the owners more in particular are getting more involved with this. Most of the players either locking arms or kneeling down for the anthem this past weekend. And really, it was only a few players that really said they were standing not for President Trump, but for soldiers, especially in particular Steelers lineman Alejandro Villanueva, who was a former Army veteran coming in. He was standing outside the locker room while the rest of the Steelers team was inside the locker room. This is more a message not just for the Black Lives Matter, but for Trump. And for Trump, though, however, he tweeted out, he took this as a message of, this is really good that we're together, that we're bonding together. So it's almost as if we're bonding together over a common problem. The question is whether or not these protests are going to continue. There's no word yet whether the NFL players are going to continue with these protests or if this was just a one-week thing.
Matthew Weasel there. See you in a bit.
See you in a bit.
Thank you, Matt. On Sunday, Germany held its federal election. Angela Merkel, who has led Germany for the past 12 years, will enter her 4th term despite facing a strong opposition. Right-wing group Alternative for Germany has rallied against Merkel and her party for years. The right-wing group has gained significant national attention since it was founded in 2013.
Iraqi Kurds are set to vote next week on independence from Iraq. This vote will be an important first step towards a split from the Iraqi state. Many are calling this a desire for Kurdish independence after years of suffering under war and dictatorship. The U.S. opposes the idea as it could spark new conflicts and ignite old tensions. Voting closed at noon today and results should be known in the next 3 days.
Japanese Prime Minister Shinzo Abe is calling for a snap election almost a year before the scheduled elections. Japanese political researchers say Abe's call aims to take advantage of the recent spike in his supportive opinion polls. The Prime Minister has been losing popularity over recent years, but due to scandals, but could hold power until 2021 if re-elected. The rise in Abe's support is in response to his strong stance against North Korean threats after they recently fired 2 ballistic missiles over Japan. If Abe is re-elected as a party leader, he will be the longest-serving Prime Minister in Japanese history.
From the CitrusTV Weather Center, this is SU's most accurate weather forecast.
We apologize for those technical difficulties. So the 5-day forecast, Jess, what's it looking like?
Yeah, so we're going to see warm temperatures again up until Wednesday, and then in Thursday we're going to see some highs in the 60s, and then Friday and Saturday are bringing a little bit of rain and partly cloudy skies, so it's going to get a little chilly here. Sweater weather definitely in the forecast.
All right, thank you, Jess. And so I can continue wearing shorts for the rest of the
Until Wednesday,
Okay.
until Wednesday, and then Thursday there's a definite shift in that temperature.
Mm-hmm.
And what if I want to go golfing? I mean, I love to golf, especially this time of year whenever you can take it. How long can we expect the warmth to stick around?
Just until Wednesday, and then it's done. And then, like I said, Thursday is that time we're going to start seeing 60s, and all throughout next week, too. Going to get into the 50s and 60s, so shouldn't get back into the 80s again for a while.
All right, Jess, thanks a lot.
All right, thanks, Jess.
Coming up, Target is raising their wages, but how much can employees expect to benefit from it?
And why the CEO of Uber is apologizing to the people of London. All that and more coming up after the break.
Looking for these? You drive buzzed. It could be one very expensive ride.
First, you gotta make bail. Then pay me to get your car back.
Your insurance premiums will go through the roof.
And my legal fees just keep adding up. All told, it could end up costing you $10,000.
Buzzed, busted, and broke. Because buzz driving is drunk driving.
Fancy pants peanut butter? A big screen television? You haven't even bought a sofa yet. A motorcycle? When your father finds out, he's gonna flip his shoes with 2 buckles? What do you even need 2 buckles for? Mr. Big Shot, buying whiskey shots for everybody in the bar. From the looks of it, I'd say nobody even remembers. Feed the pig.
If you see news happening on campus, in Syracuse, or across the nation, call the Citrus TV newsroom, 315-443-1177, or tweet at CitrusTV News, your campus news leader.
When the halftime whistle blows, most spectators will use the time to take a bathroom break, visit the concession stand, or simply stretch their legs. But for others, it's a call to action. Citrus TV reporter Conor Wight has the details on the SU Soccer halftime show.
It's the moment they've been waiting for, their moment for glory. The Fayetteville Manlius youth group takes the field, replacing the collegiate contest for their own special matchup. The players may be on the field at the moment, but for some fans, the real game starts at halftime. And once that game starts, the players will fight for every inch, leaving it all on the pitch. Youth teams from around Central New York are contacted for the halftime show.
Every game, we work with the director of operations of a soccer team, and he kind of books in advance all of our youth groups.
Games not only serve to entertain fans, but are a fun-filled experience for the players.
Kids love it. Look, they love the feedback. They love the ability to go out and play on a Division I Power 5 conference field, and you can see when the kids come off the field how happy they are and how smiley they are, and the parents love it as well. So we're just here really, for me, it's all about selling the experience, and the experience is SU soccer and more just family-friendly entertainment, and that's what you see here tonight.
Parents enjoy seeing their kids on the big stage.
Oh, it's cool, man. Yeah, real cool.
What I have.
That's right, buddy. Nice.
Fans appreciate the action.
It was very entertaining. I liked it a lot. The kids are cute.
Conor Wight, Citrus TV News.
The minimum wage is rising for Target employees. Starting next month, Target's hourly minimum wage will rise to $11 an hour and will continue to rise. By 2020, the department store plans to raise the minimum wage to $15 an hour. On Capitol Hill, the $15 wage bill has been introduced. But for now, states and companies can make their own decisions about employees' wages.
Can you really Uber everywhere? Uber's license in London will not be renewed due to some operation issues. The Transport Department of London says the company did not report serious crimes adequately. The CEO of Uber is apologizing to Londoners for mistakes the company has made, and the apology is printed in London's newspaper, the Evening Standard. Uber does plan to fight the decision, however, to keep the driving service in London. And listen to these numbers. Halloween is expected to bring in $9.1 billion in consumer spending this year. This is up 8.3% from last year's $8.4 billion spent. On average, U.S. shoppers will spend $86 on costumes, candy, and decorations. That's $2.7 billion that will be spent on candy this year. Safe to say this Halloween won't be a scary one for the nation's stores.
Now there is a way to safely check your text messages when you're riding your bike without even holding your phone. Google and Levi's are revealing their finished connected jacket today, a jean jacket that can manage text and calls, give directions from Google Maps, and even play music. The jacket uses multi-touch and gesture sensors from Google technology that are woven into the jacket's cuff and wirelessly connects to the wearer's phone. The connected jacket goes on sale Wednesday for $350 and works with both iOS and Android devices.
Coming up, Syracuse sports struggling to get in the win column, but the Orange are making an impression in the pros. Also, another Sunday in the books. Which New York team couldn't escape with a win? All that and more on the other side of the break.
Hey, look, it's those guys. Are you good to drive?
I'm fine.
How many did you have?
I should be fine.
You should be?
Go and step out of the vehicle for me.
See ya, buddy. Good luck. So turns out, buzz driving and drunk driving, they're the same thing, and it costs around $10,000. So not worth it.
Look at you. You're at the top of your game. You're unstoppable. Nothing can throw you off track. Wait, is that your car? Uh-oh. Yeah, I saw that coming. That will throw you off track. You're looking at around 10 grand in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates. Let's try this again. Smart move. Because buzz driving is drunk driving.
They said a bottle was just a bottle. That no one would ever notice me. But I knew I could be more. That one day, I would make people smile.
And now, your Citrus TV Sports Report.
Welcome back. I'm Matthew Weitzel there. When you head into a game as 22.5-point underdogs, you can't really expect to put up a fight. Well, Dino Babers and the Orange were off to Death Valley, and the Tigers, when they were taking them on, weren't about to pull any punches. Headed down to Death Valley, it's intense, but for Eric Dungy, it was really intense. First play of the game, Greedy Williams picks it off. Next play would be a Darius Geis touchdown. Early, LSU leads 7-0. Second quarter, end of it, and man, it just can't get any easier for the Orange. An easy Stephen Sullivan trot into the end zone. 14-3, LSU would be 21-3 after the first play of the third quarter. But hey, who needs Eric Dungy to throw? When you have Devin C. Butler launches it to Irv Phillips, the wide receiver to wide receiver connection. It's now 21-10. LSU, though, kept putting on the lead. Now Darrell Williams able to bust his way into the end zone. 20-yard run, 28-10 LSU. Well, Eric Dungy says, you can do that. I can run over people, too. Finds his way into the end zone over a couple defenders, and now it's 28-19 LSU. All of a sudden, a little bit of a Syracuse comeback. And hey, Eric Dungy, he's known for his arm as well as his legs. Here's his arm. Steve Ishmael gets in the end zone. All of a sudden, it's a 2-point LSU lead, and Syracuse couldn't finish it off, though. DJ Chark able to find his way into the end zone, a 35-26 loss for the Orange. Not all bad, though, for the Orange, because it might have been a loss for them, but a win for a couple players on the team. That's right, linebacker Paris Bennett earned ACC Linebacker of the Week after his superb performance against LSU. The senior led the Orange with 12 tackles and a safety in the loss. Now let's throw back to 2 years ago. Syracuse and North Carolina faced off in both the ACC and national championships, both of which went down to the wire. Now, the teams aren't as good as a few years ago, but the top 10 matchup in J.S. Coyne Stadium still held the same dramatic conclusion. Let's take you there. It's the ACC rivalry. It's intense. It's awesome. Well, get ready for this because it's going to be another fun one down in Syracuse. Gab Major able to get the things going with an early 35th minute goal. Emma Van Hoek then able to double the lead for UNC. It's 2-0. Syracuse, though, 2 minutes after that, able to come back. Elaine Carey able to get a little ricochet into the back of the cage. All of a sudden, it's only a 2-1 deficit. 70th minute, last minute of play. Lee's Lagerway able to get the ball and find the back of the net. We're going overtime. It's tied 2-2. Well, Eva Van Hoek, you saw her a couple seconds ago, and she's able to finish off 2 minutes into the overtime. It's North Carolina winning 3-2 over the Orange. And well, hey, look, you want to find some positives, right? Syracuse soccer didn't provide those for Orange fans. The top 10 men's team hosted Duke in an effort to snap a 2-game skid on Friday. However, Ian McIntyre's squad fell behind early to the Blue Devils and fell 2-1 for its third straight loss. On the women's side, SU with 120 minutes with Clemson. They only got to scoreless draw, though. Each team had 5 saves in the contest. On both the men's and women's sides, the Orange have yet to win a game in conference play. In the professional game, Carmelo Anthony is on the move. The former Syracuse star is off to Oklahoma City after a trade from the New York Knicks. Melo was traded for Enes Kanter, Doug McDermott, and a 2018 second-round pick. Anthony leaves New York as the 7th leading scorer in Knicks history. Carmelo Anthony isn't the only former Jim Boeheim product in the NBA. In fact, there are 13 former Orange in the NBA training camps that start this week. Tyler Lydon and Andrew White III are both in camps after impressive performances at SU this year. Deion Waiters is also in camp with the Heat after his best NBA campaign in the 2016-2017 season. On to the gridiron. The Buffalo Bills defeated the Denver Broncos yesterday 26-16. Tyrod Taylor led the charge for the Bills with over 200 yards passing and 2 touchdowns. The defense was also impressive, intercepting Broncos quarterback Trevor Siemian twice in the win. The Bills' AFC East rival also had a nice day. The Jets earned its first win of the season with a 20-6 victory over the Dolphins. Gang Green was strong on defense, only allowing 225 yards on the game as a whole. The Giants did not enjoy the same success, falling to the Eagles 27-24 in Philadelphia. It was a bit of a heartbreaker for New York as rookie Jake Elliott nailed a 61-yard field goal as time expired to give the Eagles the last-second victory. And in the MLB, the good times kept rolling on for the Yankees. Already into the playoffs, the Bronx Bombers took on the Royals earlier today in a historic game. Rookie Aaron Judge launched 2 home runs in today's game that moved him up to 50 on the season, eclipsing the rookie record for long bombs in a year. Mark McGwire previously held the mark at 49, and Judge now has 6 more games to add on to his achievement. The Mets are also in action today with a doubleheader currently in action against the Atlanta Braves.
We'll be right back.
Check. Oh, you got it. You know, since I got rid of my car, I really enjoy walking.
Okay. God, no.
Getting pulled over for buzz driving could cost you around $10,000 in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates.
Oh, you're home early.
You live with your mom?
That'll set your game back a few years. Buzzed, busted, and broke. Because buzz driving is drunk driving.
So Jess, what's the rest of the 5 days looking like?
Yeah, so tomorrow it's going to be in the 80s, and Wednesday also in the 80s. Both are partly cloudy, so still a little bit of sunshine keeping it warm. And then on Thursday we're going to see 66, which is a complete change from the past few weeks. Friday, 65, 50% chance of rain, so getting a little wet here. And then Saturday, also 50% chance of rain and scattered storms throughout the morning, pretty much.
How about on the way to class tomorrow? What should I be wearing?
I think you can wear exactly what you wore today. It's pretty much going to be the same type of day. Plenty of sunshine, sunglasses needed.
Thanks, Jess.
And later in the week on Friday and Saturday, am I going to need the umbrella all day or only morning, afternoon?
Just probably the morning on the way to class.
All right, sounds good. I'll ditch it later.
That's all for Citrus TV News Live at 6. Be sure to check out our website, CitrusTV.com, for more. I'm Mike Riccardi.
And I'm Gilat Melamed. Stick around for Talking Points at 7:30 for all your political news. Have a great night, Syracuse.